Pastor Nate, would you join us in prayer? If you'd like to pray, you can, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. But thanks, Lord, for a good night, for good township, for great leaders. We're grateful. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, Pastor Nate. Moving on to approval of the agenda, we do need to add, it'll be 8I. It is the cleaning for the park board. The current contract has expired, and this was brought to them. They voted on it last night to bring it to us. So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve agenda as amended.
Support.
Just discussion.
Question on this. If this came to the park board last night, when did this go out for bid?
We had this go out, it was like in March that we had it. I don't know exact date did we have on there, Trudy?
I announced it.
So there's plenty of time for...
March 21st, they were due back.
Okay.
It was bid out prior to that.
Yeah, so there was a lot of time to bid.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any further discussion, questions? Please take the roll.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. Consent agenda. Agenda committee recommends to approve and place on file A, minutes from the April 1st, 2025 regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board. B, general savings, pooled funds, and CD reports from the treasurer for March 2025. C, balance sheet and revenue expense report for the period ending March 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve. Motion to approve the consent agenda. Support.
Discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. On now for presentations, Monroe County Sheriff's Department update.
Good evening, Joe Hammond with the Sheriff's Office. For the month, you received your stats. They're well within the range that we typically see, especially for this month, or this past month, I should say. The speed sign data indicates 90% plus compliance within that zone. They're at Stearns and Secor. Outside of that, if you kind of look at them the way we do, the stats for property checks and traffic stops, especially traffic stops, were significantly higher than they've been, which is a testament to what we've been doing with getting our officers back out on the road and kind of turning things over to our detectives for case follow-up. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. Any questions? All right. Well,
Thanks for
I
coming.
have some, I guess, is
Go
that
ahead.
we've had at the Planning Commission, we've had a couple things that we're dealing in the in downtown Lambertville and Quail Hollow and whatnot. And there's been a couple mentions by residents of people whipping through Quail Hollow to do as a cut through. Is that something you guys ever go keep an eye on at all, or is that something that you could?
yeah, we absolutely could
Look at from time to time.
And yes, we get.
I can only imagine.
We just got another one. I think it was today. Came in about a specific targeted area that you'll see increased enforcement in. So,
Okay.
Quail Hollow will be added to the list, and we'll direct some enforcement in that area.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you have anything like that, let us know, because like I say, if we can target our enforcement, it's a lot better than our guys. I don't want to say randomly go
Yeah.
around, but
Definitely.
There's obviously advantages to randomly being around because you never know where we're going to be. But if you're out having bad intentions for things, not just speeding or anything else, but certainly if we can direct it, that's even better. So,
Well, thank you.
all right.
Any other questions? Joe? Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe. See you next month.
4B, Mr. Miller is not here this evening, so we will be bypassing that. We will be going to 4C, Downtown Development Authority Public Information Report. Mr. Diver?
Well, he's getting his stuff ready. Are we going back to that? Are we going to like have that on our next agenda?
We're just going to table it.
No, it doesn't need to be approved. It really doesn't need to be a presentation.
Okay.
It just has to be given quarterly.
The only one,
Always likes to
yeah.
present.
And the only one that has to be a presentation is the annual one.
Okay. I just had
So D&I
I had
look-
just questions about it, so that's why I didn't know if we would.
It'll be on our webpage somewhere, like Bedford's, and whoever wants to watch it can watch it. Is that,
What?
yeah, there we go. Presentation. You gonna have Bob YouTube it or just nothing?
No?
Okay.
He normally gives a presentation. It doesn't say it has to be done, but we've just been doing it. He's ill today, so he can't. If there's questions, Krista could probably answer those, or I could.
Well, I'm fine.
Let's go. Let's go if he's ready.
So, yeah, I can
Go
say
ahead. Go ahead.
Are you sure? All right. Sorry about that. Hello, my name's Lucas Diver. I'm here to give the Bedford Downtown Development Authority informational meeting for the year. So basically every year we're going to come to you guys and kind of give you an update of what we've been doing, what we plan on doing, so on and so forth with it. About myself a little bit, I've been in the DDA since 2020. And then I have been on the chair. I believe this is my second term now, so I think it's roughly 3 years, give or take, something like that. Basically, like I said, what I'm going to do is give you an update on what we've kind of been doing and what we plan on doing for the next year. I'll try to keep it short and sweet for you. To start, we're going to start with the history of the DDA. The DDA was formed in 1996, to widen the roads at Stearns and Secor. That job was then completed in 2000, but the bonds that we had were not going to be retired until 2012. The DDA was then reapproved in 2010 to continue to work on the economic growth and the beautification of that downtown area. And here's just a little picture. It's not the most up-to-date picture. The one on the left is 1990, and then the one on the right here is 2021. But just from that picture alone, you guys can kind of tell that it has expanded greatly from there. The DDA's authority. So our authority derives from the Public Act 57 of 2018, which allows us to capture a incremental growth of local property taxes. And what we do with that is we go ahead and do the things that I'm going to tell you here in a minute. I'm not going to go into everything, but we use that tax capture to then beautify, make the place or make that area a better place. With that has to come a board. Some of my board members are here with us today. It consists of DDA residents, so that downtown area residents, property or business interests in the DDA, and as well as our township supervisor, Al Pryor. This slide here, I'm not going to go over all these names. She's not here tonight, but one I would like to really point out is Joyce Blanton. As you can see, she's top of the list there. She's 1996, so she was from the original DDA, and she's still on our board today. So I wish she was here to be able to give her a round of applause or something, but if you see Joyce, know Joyce, tell her good job. She does great for us. What we can do, there's obviously a big list up here. I'm not going to get into all of it because that's what the next couple slides are. But what we're here to do in a nutshell is road improvements, marketing, update our public parks, property improvements, property accusations, so on and so forth, and I'm going to get into that here in a minute. The DDA has a big relationship with you all here, the township. There's a couple things that we need from you guys or that you guys have done for us. Those three things are the budget approval. So we present a budget to you guys every year that you guys go ahead and approve. The next thing on the list is the tax increment financing. You guys approved that back in, I believe it was 2015, and it was adopted in 2017, for our DDA. And then lastly, us members, us board members, we get appointed, and then you guys have to approve of it. So you guys have a big role in everything that we do every month when we come to our meetings, even though you're not necessarily there with us. The goals and the visions of the DDA. What we want to do is mainly we want to make that place an inviting place. So that Four Corners, we want people to show up, shop, walk around, get their gas, go get food, hang out, enjoy their family, friends, whatever it is. We want to attract the businesses, or attract the people to the businesses in that area. Next is to establish a cohesive green design. So what we're trying to do with everything is we're trying to make it bigger and better, yes, but we're also trying to do it in the most green way possible. We're not out there trying to do anything crazy. We're trying to keep it within our realm and do it the right way. And then lastly, kind of leads in my first point, is the economic growth. We're trying to get the people to that area to spend their money, hang out with friends, family, like I stated. A couple accomplishments here. I'm not going to go through this list because the next couple slides are actually pictures of these, so we'll go through these kind of slowly but surely. The first one I want to bring up is the widening of the roads. In 1997, there's not necessarily a picture of that, but we kind of brought that up to start. That happened, was finished in 1997. And then this next one here, we have Pearl Albert Green Park. We help maintain that park, cut the grass, the flowers, if anything goes wrong with it, electricity-wise, we fix it, the pump and the water, all of that. We help maintain that. The next thing that we've done in 2015, we put on decorative solar lights, so kind of back to our green design that we were talking about. You'll see these as you walk through the DDA. They're just a nice little light post, adds a little light as you're walking at night, and then they're solar powered. So pretty self-explanatory there. The Old Buddies property cleanup. We were a big help in doing this. As we all know, there were some problems going through that, and we were able to help them out and get that all taken care of. The curb and roadway approach, I guess, is the best way to put this. So you can kind of see bottom left corner. I think that's going into Burger King there. In that area, going into all the businesses, the curbs were starting to get ate up and destroyed. In 2015-16, we went through and redid most of them there, if not all of them. I can't remember if it was all or most, but the ones that needed it definitely got done. The sidewalk improvements, as you know, in 2016-17, we were able to add the sidewalks, and I'm going to go to the next slide here. You can kind of see the new construction of where those were added. The red lines are the ones, and then it shows the year per sidewalk of when and where they were added at. Also with that came the pedestrian pods and benches, so you kind of walk around the DDA area. There's a nice place to sit. There's a nice trash can to throw the stuff away. Flowers, things of that, so you guys can sit there, rest, enjoy the views, all of that. Here's a picture of before and after of those pedestrian pods and the fencing and all of that here from the Walgreens. It's not just in front of the Walgreens, but that's just one example of it here. Here's another picture of the streetscape, the pedestrian pods, the sidewalk added in there, all of that. Other activities. So we don't just do, physical things in the DDA. We also host events and do things that aren't really seen behind the scenes. So one of them that we do, if you haven't been, is the Boo Bash Trunk or Treat that takes place right in front of the Pearl Albert Green Park. Great family event. We try to get all the businesses from that area to throw a trunk in there, walk around. We have face paintings for the kids, pumpkins. So around Halloween time, look for that. It should be one of those weekends around there. Like I mentioned, we maintain the pedestrian pods and the Pearl Arbor Green Park, so we mow that, take care of the landscape, make sure that looks nice and neat for everybody. We added, I think we talked about it earlier with the speed signs. We were the ones that added those on Stearns and Secor. You know, they're flashing at you, slow down, speed up. Those have been a huge help to our community, just monitoring all the speed and the traffic that kind of goes through there. We have also resurfaced Quail Hollow. I know Quail Hollow got brought up earlier. That's actually a part of the DDA. That road was getting pretty tore up. We were able to go through and resurface that as well. And one of the coolest things that I personally think we have done is we conducted a survey from all the business owners in that area, and the main thing that came back was the safety of their workers, them, their clients, customers. So once we got that information back, we actually added the flock cameras to the four corners that have license plate readers, which I'm not going to speak too far into that because I don't know much, but I believe they've been a huge help to our community. These cameras actually connect with different cameras across the nation to help find the bad guys at the end of the day. So those are some of the things that we've done and we continue to do. What I'm going to go into next is just one future project that is the main one on our list, and we'll be bringing this to your guys' attention, I believe, in a month or so, is the street signals at the corners of the Quail Hollow entrances. So Stearns and Secor both. I personally work in that area. We all kind of do with the DDA. We kind of have to or live in that area. A lot of bad accidents have happened at those corners. So we have gone through and done the steps that we need to put in traffic stops, crosswalks, the whole 9 yards, and that's in the works right now of hopefully, knock on wood, getting done pretty soon. And again, this kind of just goes into why we're doing it. The traffic volume, one, pedestrian safety. We'll be able to cross the road from Quail Hollow to Kroger, or from Quail Hollow over to like the American Table area, that plaza, and vice versa, instead of having to walk all the way down. Plus, it will be a lot easier if you've ever pulled out of the Kroger parking lot at 5, 6 o'clock. It'll be a lot easier to get out of there as well. And that kind of leads to the accident history. Getting out of there is tough, causes a lot of accidents. That should help with everything there. More future projects that are kind of on the list that we are working on are we're going to continue the street installation, replace and install the street lights along Stearns and Secor. So if those lights go out, make sure we're keeping those up to date. Connecting the sidewalks, we'd like to add more sidewalks to the DDA area to allow people to walk around and get to where they need to be safely. And then, of course, enhance the landscape and beautification. So again, add more flowers, trees, beautification, make the place a place where somebody wants to stay and shop and eat and do all of that. And again, we're going to continue on with our events. We're going to be doing the Boo Bash. We're also looking in maybe to doing some sort of 4th of July event. We don't know how that's going to work out, but we're trying to figure that out, and we will let you guys know. And then lastly, what we want to do is keep the DDA looking nice. And I know that sounds very simple, but what I mean by that is make sure the businesses are keeping up on their trash out back and their dumpsters and making sure everything's the way it should be so that when you drive through there's just no eyesores, making it look very nice. And that's all I got. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me now. I got a couple of my board members here to help me out if needed, but if not, that's all I have for you guys. Good?
Any questions?
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Mr. Diver?
Next up is public comment.
Oh, well, yeah, my question in 4B for the investment, in our pooled funds, we're almost up to, it's 7.7 million. I remember we had talked about that in June. My notes in June, we had like almost 11 million in there, and we got that down to 3, and then it's almost back up to 8. I was just going to ask about, like, are we...
I can explain that.
Okay, yeah.
I was waiting for Mr. Miller to give me a breakdown of what could be taken out of the pooled fund
Okay.
from each individual fund. He was on vacation, I was on vacation, so we were hoping to get it done before this report.
Okay.
But I'm taking about, what do we figure, 3 million, Trudy? Something like 3 million out of the pooled and putting it into the investment, UBS investments. The problem with, and like I explained to Josh the other day, the problem with the pooled account, keeping it under a low, like the 250,000, is virtually impossible because everything gets put into that. Our revenue sharing gets put into that. All the fire stuff gets put into that, grants and stuff like that. That gets put in there. So for monthly, it's not going to stay below 250,000. And there are times that it's going to be a little higher, obviously, like it is now. But it depends on whether
It looked like we were keeping it around 3.
Yeah.
And I just see it like
And we did
coming up.
have-
That was like, I just want to know, are we getting that in investments
It will be.
Okay.
It will be moved. I'm actually in the process of doing that right now. I'm only allowed to move so much money a day
Okay.
from Fifth Third. So, and it has to go over to First Merchants and then go over to UBS.
Okay.
But yeah, I am in the process of doing that.
Okay.
So this will be taken care of in the next. Yes, and then another thing is, yes, the tax revenue was put in there, deposited too. I just deposited 1.9 million from tax revenue into the pooled account within the last several weeks.
Okay.
So that's another reason why it has jumped up so high.
Josh, you had a question?
Not a question, a comment. I appreciate Krista taking the time out this week to kind of explain what she just explained. And it's almost, I feel like, an impossible task to keep it that low with the monies coming in every single day. And I don't know how it's possible. It could be a full-time job, but just to do that specifically. So, no, I just want to thank you and walk me through all that. So,
Absolutely.
Any other questions,
That's all I
comments?
had.
Before we move on? Now we'll move on to public comment. Comments limited to 5 minutes for board agenda items only. Please state which agenda item you will be speaking on.
Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance. Well, I'm surprised to begin with. I want to discuss several different items here, so I'll tell you as I do it. Presentations, I would still like to see the public be allowed public comment time following each presentation. There are several things here that should be discussed and more fully. Basically, the DDA. I'm trying to figure out here when you guys will get a chance to really sit down and discuss this, whether we need to continue with this. When is it up for a renewal? Is it a DDA or is it a TIFA? And what are those state requirements? They also have $300,000 now that they've gone a little bit more public and have been forced to actually do money accounting, $300,000 in their funds. Now, at a certain time, those have to be returned. So this is the stuff that needs to be disclosed. And it may be fine and dandy that they want to look pretty and everything, but, I mean, let's look at it, people. Are we really going to sit there in the corner of Walgreens and count cars and look pretty? They're admitting that they have a traffic problem, and that was the reason why they were put in place. So it's not been successful in all respects. I understand their work and I respect them for doing that, but it really does need to come down to some big open discussion on whether we continue this. That's up to you. It's not up to them. Regarding 8B, I question how many times someone gets to have an extension. Is there a limit as to that? It basically says in the packet that it's because of the market. Well, all we hear is that how we need all these homes in this township. So I'm kind of confused with all that. The salary and benefits package of the deputy supervisor. Other than a name, we don't have anything else given to the public on who this person is. And I still believe that instead of my having to file a FOIA and pay the money, that when somebody's going to be hired or has been hired, that information from their application, what their qualifications are, what the going rates are within the township as a whole, would be part of the public record. As far as 8E, the change in the precision irrigation, I believe, is the same group that is hired through the DDA. And it doesn't state, or unless I missed reading it, that they're not, is it local roads or is this the primary roads? Why would this company make the decision to do it 3 times? And because I don't know if they're local or the primary roads, there is question. So I can understand mowing on both sides, but if it's the local roads, these are more in the residential areas. So I'm not certain that we need to have that time in the middle. As far as anything else, I think that's about it, because like I said, I have a lot of stuff that I would like to share regarding the actions of the DDA over the last couple of years. So thank you kindly.
Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer Creek Drive. I'm here to talk about the DDA, the TIFA, or whatever they call themselves this week. I was obviously on the board when the first DDA was put in place for purposes of fixing the Secor Stearns intersection. It was completed, and it was done principally because of a safety issue. Now they're talking about putting traffic lights up. I think it probably makes a lot of sense to put it across from the Kroger exit onto Stearns Road. It's pretty tough to get in and out of there. I challenge why they need one on Secor and Quail Hollow. I'll tell you why. There's going to be a lot of accidents right there. People are coming northbound on Secor, and the little traffic light that tells you how fast you're going, 20% of the people who go through there are exceeding the speed limit. And that's what their sheriff tells us all the time. 80% are within the speed limit, 20% are not. That's 3,400 cars per day are exceeding the speed limit. And all of a sudden they're doing 50 mile an hour and they're going to see a traffic light? I question that. I go through Quail Hollow all the time. Perfect travel. They got a free road. They don't have to pay for it. I'm paying for mine today. They get a street sweeper comes through on a regular basis and cleans their street. All that's paid by the DDA, so that's a benefit to the Quail Hollow people, so they can't complain anymore about somebody coming through and using their public road. Coming east on Stearns, take a right turn on Quail Hollow, run through it, come around, I can take a right turn on Secor, never stop. Now, I do observe the 25 mile an hour speed limit because there are too many cars that park on the street. And they also forgot to say they help pay for the license plate cameras. Those probably have some real value, but the first time they had to use them, they couldn't use them because the guy got away clean. That's just a defect in the system is all. They ultimately almost caught him. The last thing I didn't see up there, the repair of the curb and gutters. He did them in 15 and 16. They're falling apart again. I would put that high on your list as something to do. And lastly, I recommend the board to look closely at whether or not the DDA is performing its original and continued goals and objectives, whether that's of interest to you, to have closer oversight. Thank you.
Josh Niederkor, 7948 Wiseman Road, Lambertville. I'm also the Bedford Township Park Commissioner. As far as commenting on AI, it is time for us to hire a new cleaning company. The current company has done a unsatisfactory job. We've had complaints, handful of complaints at least this year. And then when they complain about not getting paid, well, if you don't turn an invoice like 3 months late from January, February, March all together, how do they expect to get paid? And they're not turning their invoices. So it's time to turn the page on this current cleaning company and hire a new one with all the bookings that are going to be happening this summer. We don't want to have any issues, more complaints, or having to give out refunds anymore. So if you could approve this new contract and see how it goes and give this new one a chance, and if we need to revisit, then we'll revisit. Thanks.
Any further public comments before we move on? Further discussion? The next that we have is 8A, vouchers for payment. Ms. Hirschberger?
I'd like to make a motion that the following vouchers be approved for payment. General Fund, $78,905.19. Fire Fund, $14,732.15. Fire Equipment, $1,286.39. Downtown Development Authority, $174.07. Library Fund, $1,585.24. American Rescue Plan, $283.50. Building Department, $5,212.60. Sewer O&M, $3,212.82. Trust and Agency, $3,410.34, for a grand total of $108,802.30.
Support.
Further discussion? Please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we're going to 8B, final preliminary plat approval extension for Prairie Woods subdivision, final preliminary plat 5 and 6 approval. Do you want to take that?
Yeah. I wasn't on planning when this has come through, but pretty straightforward. They're doing a renewal. Now, I was going to ask the same question just for verification. Maybe that's for you, Phil, because I couldn't remember. It was in my head that the last one was a renewal. Is that correct? That was what was in my head, but I wasn't positive about that, and I did want to verify, is there any sort of statute of limitations or anything like that on amount of times they can be renewed or anything like that?
There's no statute of limitations. If an application for extension is made, it's discretionary.
Okay.
With the Township Board, and usually they provide a reason for the requested extension. It can be ranging from anything from DEQ permitting to the status of the economy, demand for housing in the area, infrastructure, things of that nature. But the Township Board has the authority to grant the extension if they see fit.
Okay. Yeah. So it's been approved. It's already been approved. Everything is satisfactory as far as any requirements they need to fulfill or anything. They're just doing an extension.
What number extension is this?
2.
This is the second one?
Mm-hmm. So the first one would have been in 2021 and then extended in 2023.
Okay. And what's the holdup? I mean, is there just no one buying houses?
Mr. Greeley, would you like to come to the...
Yeah.
Brad Greeley, 1832 Apple Creek Drive. So the holdup is kind of twofold. We were ready to go with the subdivision, and the DEQ came down when we went for permitting and wanted us to redo our construction drawings to include not only Plat 5 and 6, but also a future Plat 7 and 8, which are just at a conceptual stage right now. So we're in line with our engineers right now, waiting to get those drawn a little bit firmer, because right now at the conceptual stage, DEQ doesn't, or Eagle doesn't have enough information to make a decision on how they want to handle our permit application. So it's not only an economic factor, it's a engineering factor that we're sitting here waiting, because there's a lot of subdivisions being drawn right now. So we have to get back in line and then take our conceptual Plat 7-8 up to construction drawings so that Eagle can make a decision on Plats 5 and 6, if that makes a lot of sense. We love it. So we could change the letter to say massive regulatory oversight But we just went with, economic factors.
Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the subdivision that the BZA gave some variances to put an entrance off of Jackman Road.
No, we're fully, our single entrance is still combined. Actually, it's two entrances. It's in Prairie Woods Phase 1 through 4, or Plat 1 through 4. So our only entrance is on Stearns Road, and it goes out the two entrances that are existing for Prairie Woods.
Different
That's 1 through 4.
I'm thinking of over off of Dean. Okay.
Any other questions, thoughts, comments?
I'll make a motion. Motion to approve the request for Prairie Woods subdivision for plats 5 and 6, final preliminary plat approval, which was originally based on a recommendation from the Planning Commission and was contingent on all government agencies and documentation required to be met, along with any required permits from Eagle.
Support.
Further discussion? I did. No further discussion. Ms. Hirschberger, take the roll, please.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next is 8C, approve the hiring of a deputy supervisor. First of all, well, Chance, if you could stand up so you can all meet Chase Lindecker. I always got to watch call him Chance because my dog is Chance, so I'm always getting too confused. So forgive me.
He looks
Chase.
like a dog.
So Chase's qualifications are, for those who went to Michigan State, he is a Michigan State grad, graduate of St. John's. I went to college with your principal from St. John's. Chase also has business experience in the community. So we do have a lot of projects. So in terms of his background, I think that'll be extremely beneficial. I like in terms of what his work ethic has been. I've checked out a few of his references, and I've got glowing reports. One thing that in the memo, though, what we want to do instead of starting out at $55,217, we would be starting out at $50,217 with a review in 6 months. The reason why we're doing that is because we looked at what the other deputies paid, and the other deputies, including myself, we didn't really have any government experience. We had business experience, and some other administrative experiences and that type of thing, where Corey did have government experience. He worked for Dale Zorn and so on. So that would be the starting pay with benefits, and he'd be starting on May 5th. So I need a motion.
I will make a motion that we approve the Deputy Township Supervisor salary and benefit package for Chase Lindecker. Starting salary at $50,217 and the starting date at May 5th, 2025.
Support.
Discussion?
I have an amendment with the review in 6 months.
That's what I was going to add.
Accepted.
I have a question also, Al. Now, with the new fiscal year starting in July, because that's when you guys get all your raises, correct? So Chase would be exempt from that July raise then?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he would be exempt in July, but in 6 months he would bounce up to the current salary of the deputy clerks. Or deputy clerks, oh my gosh, deputies.
Yeah.
As long as
review
after 6
and-
months he passes the review, he would go up to their salary, which includes the 2%. So,
Which all the other ones that happened to them as well.
Okay.
yeah, historically this is how it's been done. They hire at $5,000 less, and then after 6 months they bump up to whatever deputy's pay is at that time, as long as the review goes well.
Any other discussion or
So,
questions?
not our policy, but that's been our precedent, right?
Correct.
Rightfully or wrongfully, I think you three have had experience of
Historically,
that yourself, right?
We've all experienced
three of us.
it.
You've all
Three of us.
experienced it, whether you had experience or not in government.
Correct.
And so I look forward to, coming up, helping, maybe having a voice in policy at some point moving forward of a pay scale, a max, a cap on every position in the township, a minimum, because at some point we have done 2% raise, 2% raise, 2% raise, and a deputy at some point in the future, if that continued, would make more than what a supervisor, clerk, or treasurer would make, and obviously that doesn't make sense. So, we need to have a max and we need to have a minimum, and then how does someone come in with no experience versus somebody coming in with experience and a degree and all that, and the pay scale of how that works. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and as a board, obviously.
Yeah, and that was the problem I had with this. When it first came up, because I talked to everyone, I even talked to Al about this. I'm like, he doesn't have Corey's experience. Corey had the connections, experience, and everything else, so I'm like, Chase shouldn't be making what Corey was. And talking with others, like with Krista, Trudy, and stuff like that, that's what they did before with their other people they brought on. You start out lower, evaluation in 6 months. So I'm good with this.
Good. Any other discussion? Thoughts, comments? Okay, I believe we got a motion and a second. You can please take the roll.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Schwiger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Chase, welcome to the Deputy Club. Next that we have is 8D, approval of acute computer equipment and software upgrade. Ms. Hirschberger?
As you see before you, we have Windows will be out of life in October 14th of 25, so we need to upgrade. Some of our computers need upgrades, some need replaced, and then some are at Windows 11 now, so they need nothing. So out of a total of 60 computers that we have, 13 need replaced, 6 need RAM so they can upgrade, and then 16 of them need upgraded. And that's what this will cover.
Any questions, thoughts, comments?
So the total price is $28,444.87. We do have actually $50,000 budgeted. We weren't sure what this was going to come in, so it was budgeted in the fiscal year.
This always happens. Microsoft always has to make new sales.
Did we, is this a company we used in the past? I don't recognize the.
Yeah. It used to be IT Right.
Okay.
They changed their name to VC3. They merged.
All right. You didn't have anybody local that can handle this, or somebody?
We have a
instead of somebody
contract
from-
with VC3.
Oh, do we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. VC3 is a federal company that merged with the local company, so now our security here is federal grade.
Okay.
So this isn't a bad price for everything they're going to do. They do it all here. They'll bring the computers here. They do it all right here.
So now when I have issues like with some things, I don't get IT Right anymore. I get.
VC3. Although it's this,
Hopefully it's the same phone number.
all there. They go under a different name now.
Yeah, but they'll probably want me to update my password then. Yeah.
Every year.
We did look at local at one time. It actually ended up being more in terms because these guys specialize in governments. That's their niche. It's what they do. So. Any other further discussion?
Other questions? And I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead with the upgrades and the replacements with VC3 in the amount of $28,444.87 as presented.
We have a second?
Support.
Second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Hirschberger?
Okay.
Take the roll, please.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. Next on the agenda
And if anyone's interested, later after the meeting, I have a list of which ones need replaced and which ones don't.
8E, approve change in the precision irrigation and lawn care contract. This is a contract that we've actually administered through the road commission on our ditches. I can honestly say this is like one of the biggest complaints we always get, our ditches and the cutting and so on. So Precision came to us and said, hey, this is also the last year, I believe, of our contract too, and said, we'll give you a good price. We'd like to try something a little different if you're willing to do this, okay? Where they're going to cut the ditches on both sides starting out in June. Cuts down on the growth. Its visibility is better at the corners and that type of thing. This is for our local roads. Like you said, this is one of the biggest complaints that I've gotten over the last 8 years. Or they don't understand why are you only cutting one side of the ditch when it's growing on both sides. So that's always been an issue. So that's why we want to try and do this. So in terms, we'll have a full cut in June. They'll do a front-only cut then in the summer, and then when we get in the fall, we'll have another full cut. That keeps it down in terms for the late fall until spring. So they approached us. We didn't approach them. We said, well, why don't we try it for a year and see how it goes? He met with the three of us. We looked at it. We brought Damon in because he gets those complaints too in terms of it. So that's how it transpired. So.
And other townships are doing this to cut down on the complaint calls as well.
And it also, too, like I said, when we get those calls, it's kind of hard to tell somebody if they can't see at an intersection why we can't come out there and cut. So then a lot of times I'm calling Precision saying, hey, can you do us a favor? Can you come out and cut this? Or I got to call the road commissioner or somebody to get it cut down. So we've had that. Any other discussion or questions? I need a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve the change in precision irrigation and lawn care contract to approve an additional $3,900 to the existing contract.
Support.
Support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, would you please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger? Pardon? Yeah, Joe.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Vote aye. Motion carries. We're moving down to 8F, approve SEMCOG annual membership. I'll handle that. I was recently voted on the executive committee. I've been attending SEMCOG now going on 8 years. So before that, I was a delegate. I partake in their general membership meetings. I've been on task force with them for biking. That's how we got the Cornerstone 100 here. That's why we got a TAP grant for downtown temperance. We've been involved, and everybody's always invited to go to SEMCOG. We're a member, so anybody can go to the general membership meetings. They can attend executive meetings. To give you an idea, the last one, we met at the train station, downtown Detroit, and they had a tour of that building, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's an Albert Kahn building. So SEMCOG is worth every penny. The stats we get from them, if we call up and we need planning advice, we can call them up. It's kind of like MTA, so we actually save money because I can get a planner on the phone and say, hey, what is this or what can be done? Instead of paying, $150 an hour or whatever all the time, we get that information. So I've been real pleased. In the past, they came down here and did a SWOT analysis for us for our assessing department. So there's a lot of things they do for us. So questions?
Yeah, could you touch on the federal grants part of that too? Trudy, you mentioned that to me. I just think that's important as well, that we can only get money through them federally.
You want
They're a great resource for the federal grants. Without them, we would lose that connection. And I know Lamar speaks on that highly, how we need to stay a member of them so we can continue to receive those grants.
Yeah. I mean, there's like, I'm going to be talking to Whiteford. There's a potential grant there for safe roads to do a study on Stearns Road. It's like a real candidate for it. So there's a lot of things there that we're always looking at to say, hey, would that benefit us? They just do a lot of things, like their park finder. They have an app that shows all the parks within our regions and so on. So, any other questions, thoughts, comments? Entertain a motion.
Go ahead and make the motion that we approve the membership dues for Southeast Michigan Council on Governments for $4,877.
Support.
Goes Todd. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Where?
I can put the year in there. Dues for 11/1/2024 to 10/31/2025.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have 8G, approved contracts with Monroe County Road Commission for overband crack fill in township subdivisions. Do you want to take that, Ms. Hirschberger?
So you'll see there are, I believe, six contracts here. Each one will need to be voted on separately, and these are SADs that the residents paid for that we said we would do crack fill on. So these are the ones that the engineers drove through and said these are the ones that are ready that need to be done this year.
And then we pay for these.
Yes.
This isn't added on to their SADs or anything like that.
We pay this 100% through the Monroe County Road Commission, as you can see the contracts. And then we already have this money budgeted. We budget for these every year. Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's got to be 6 separate motions, doesn't it?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. The first one for Canterbury.
So the first one, I'll make a motion that we approve the overband crack fill for Canterbury Forest subdivision in the amount of $2,375.
Support.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Burr votes aye. Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next one we have is for Giant Oaks.
Make a motion that we approve the Monroe County Road Commission contract for Giant Oak subdivision over Van Crackville in the amount of $855.
Support.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Berger votes aye. Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next we have Chapel Creek.
Make a motion to approve the Monroe County Road Commission contract for Chapel Creek subdivision over Van Crackville in the amount of $1,425.
Support.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Berger votes aye. Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next is for Springbrook subdivision plats 1 through 5.
Make a motion that we approve the Monroe County Road Commission's contract for Springbrook subdivision, plat 1 through 5, over Van Crackville in the amount of $950.
Support.
Further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries.
Almost done.
We're getting there. Enchanted Forest subdivision.
Make a motion that we approve the Monroe County Road Commission contract for Enchanted Forest subdivision over Van Crackville in the amount of $475.
Support.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Stonegate subdivision.
Make a motion to approve the Monroe County Road Commission contract for Stony Brook subdivision over Van Crackville in the amount of $1,045.
Support.
Discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll. Oh, did you have?
Say Stony Brook?
Stonegate, I'm
Stonegate, sorry.
That's
Change
what I
it,
wanna make sure.
Stonegate, thank
Stonegate.
you. You said Stony Brook, I
Did I
followed
say
suit.
Stonegate?
Yeah.
You're supposed to correct me on that.
Stonegate.
Hey, they're close.
Schwiger votes aye. Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries.
Your turn.
My turn, I know. Okay. We have 8H, approved chip sealing contract with Monroe County Road Commission. This is on Peel Road, and you might be thinking, why are we doing Peel Road? This is kind of in conjunction with Whiteford, because they're doing their section on Peel Road. So we got this small section, so it's kind of crazy not to do this small section that leads right into Whiteford. So they've come to us and said, hey, would you partner with us on this? We've done this before in the past. So, and it is a single chip seal. Any questions? Or I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that approve the contract Monroe County Road Commission for a single chip seal, Peel Road from Township line to Summerfield in the amount of $8,266.
Support.
Further discussion?
Assuming it's in the budget.
Yeah. Yeah, in our roads budget. Any further discussion? Please take the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Schwiger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Last, we have 8I, the cleaning for the park board. Any questions, or we have Josh there? Okay. I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion we approve the bid as recommended by the park board for replacement of the cleaning services. It was the only bid submitted.
Support.
Can I make an amendment?
Go ahead.
It's $120 per cleaning.
And the cleaning
fine with
company
that.
is Amy
The
Frost.
cleaning company is,
Amy Frost Cleaning Service.
What is it?
Amy
Frost.
Frost.
Amy
Cleaning
Frost Cleaning
I thought you
Service.
said a different last name. I was like, oh, okay.
It's in Stony Brook.
Do we have a second? Craig?
I have the second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to, for the, Josh, for the Park Commission, keep an eye on this, because if they don't do a good job or anything, out they go, let's bring somebody else in. All right? Thank you.
Okay.
I'll add, just for full disclosure, I think the memo we got is Amy Frost, Matt Anger's sister.
Yeah.
Or some kind of, so Amy Frost is related to one of the park board members. In full disclosure to everybody, so everyone knows.
But if nobody else bid.
It was the only bid we received, so there's nothing,
But she didn't hide it. She
Yeah,
put it
so-
in disclosure.
yeah.
And Matt disclosed that last night at the park board meeting. He made that public as well.
Yep.
That speaks volumes. That's good.
Great. Any further discussion? Bill, do you have any questions? Okay. We have a second from Craig. Okay, please take the roll.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
aye.
Schwiger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have comments from the public. Comments limited to 2 minutes for each individual.
Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer Creek Drive. I'll talk to the cutting both sides of the ditch. There used to be a rule. Now, whether that rule's still in place or not, pheasants forever and ducks unlimited and bunnies, I don't know what all, came along and said you will not cut to the back of the ditch until after like July or August. And that's why they only cut the one side of the ditch. So I don't know if that's still in effect or not. But Pheasants Unlimited will be down here in about 20 minutes and Ducks Unlimited right after that. Because they say they nest in the far side of the ditch, and that's why you didn't get them cut for years and years. I heard a nasty rumor that the DDA is looking to have a fireworks display this summer right in the middle of a bunch of residential areas. I don't think that's too smart. I don't even think you can get liability insurance for that. From what I'm understanding, they want to put it somewhere in the district, and I can't see any place other than houses in the immediate vicinity. And if it's someplace near my house, I'm going to be really ticked. By the way, I also want the street sweeper to come down my street, so if they get a free street sweeping, I want one too. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Ike LaFontaine, 74. So what is my address again? 7490 Canterbury Drive. I'm here representing the HOA there, and I serve as the HOA president, and the board is well represented here tonight. And we want to say thank you to the board here for approving the crack and seal for our streets. So thank you for that and for continuing to honor the contract there. I would just like to bring up that we have, in addition to the crack and seal, there's 2 places on our roads in there that have become really bad and need repair. So I would just ask that 2 things. First of all, if you can give me a timeline. I have a lot of residents asking about when the roads will be done. So as soon as we have a timeline in place, and I know I've asked Trudy about this, and we don't have that just yet, but as soon as we can know that, so I can pass that on to my residents. And then also, if there's a way that we can have those 2 locations, one is on Canterbury. As soon as you enter the main entrance, right there, there's the pavement is coming up there pretty bad. And then another one is on Dartmouth, about halfway back on Dartmouth there. And once the plows and everything went over it, it got pretty rough. So those 2 locations are pretty rough. It's going to take more than crack and seal in those 2 locations. So we have that, and then we also have a water gathering on our street right up in Canterbury there. And when there's any kind of rainfall at all, we get quite a bit of flooding right in that entrance right there. And I don't know enough about what's causing that, but wondering if we can maybe have that looked at. And then the third concern that I had is that we had a temporary, Stearns Road was temporarily shut down while they were checking, I guess, the culvert under the road there that goes right by our neighborhood. And when they had that temporarily shut down, they had put a sign back for, is it my time? Okay, I apologize.
Somebody else could come up.
Someone else come up and
Yeah.
Finish.
finish.
Yeah.
They can give you
My vice president.
There you go.
So with that being checked out
We
underneath.
need your name and your address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chuck Terry, and my address is 4158 Sheffield Place. So with that culvert being checked out and they had that road closed, they were sending all the traffic through our neighborhood. And that is one thing that we would like to have addressed, so that if they do wind up having that road closed, that our roads are taken into consideration, or that they're closed to the traffic that comes through. That's it. Thank you.
Gail Kane Temperance, and I'm asking for a little bit of latitude, please. I didn't talk for a full 5 the first round. Krista, first off to you, do you have the authority to pull the money from the DDA when they've reached their limit and they've not spent it? Additionally, welcome to our deputy supervisor. I understand from what I've been told that his father is also involved in dealings within the township and the business alliance. So hopefully he's been trained well. Mowing, is this the local roads? Right?
Local roads.
Okay, because if they're primary, I want to make a plea on behalf of the Adopt a Road program. But yes, the backside should probably not be mowed just for vegetation, for butterflies, birds, and et cetera. At the intersection, I could understand that. Notice the Adopt a Road will be picking up on the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th. So please be careful. These are citizens that volunteer their time to pick up the trash. I have other roads available, so if anybody's got a group that would like to rally, we would definitely appreciate it. This year they've changed the color of bags to orange, so will be seeing a mixture of the red and the orange bags. Also, ordinance will be asked to remove the signs that are illegally posted within road right-of-ways, and which are in violation of the ordinances, and anything that's on the telephone poles. In another fact, I would like to, my heart's with the firefighters, as you all know, because of just my family's history. I'd like to make you aware of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. It's called Light the Night for Fallen Firefighters. This is April 27th through May 4th, and it's Light the Night, Let's Shine Red in all 50 states.
I'll give you another 30 seconds.
Okay. For all 50 states, and then we also have a Ring the Bells in Your Community as a tribute to firefighters and their families. It's called Bells Across America for Fallen Firefighters, and that's May 3rd through the 4th. Folks, we got to remember, these are people that don't get their holidays off. They don't get to take a half a day off of their work because they want to party. These are people that are on call and generate the safety for our community. And this is to respect those that have lost their lives, especially in 9/11. And Al, Chief, I've got one for you. Will you take this red light and put it in the round window like you've done in the past with
Certainly.
the blue light?
Yep, we will do that. Please give it to me. You want it in the big window? Yeah. Okay. Yep, oh, okay. We can do that, thank you.
And I can send you copies if you want of
I'll take copies.
the dates of those.
Yep.
So, all right, thank you.
Put it on Facebook. Any other public comments? Mr. Stump?
No chicken updates, so don't ask. No, I appreciate Krista, Trudy, and Al for dealing with all of my questions, and Bob as well this week, for putting up with all my questions, and it's good communication. I appreciate the support, and it's been 4 months now, and I feel like we're off to a good start with, at least in aspects of communication. That helps a lot, so I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bruni?
Yeah, I'll just follow up with Josh. Yeah, communication's been great with this board. I call Al anytime, it's no problem, smooth sailing. Totally different atmosphere here with Paul gone, freaking A. Everyone have a good night, good weekend. We have Easter coming up. Have a great Easter, Passover, whatever else you celebrate. Have a good time with it.
Thank you. Mr. Gore?
A few comments reference the DDA. So I moved into the township in 1997, just shortly after the DDA was formed, and we all know what that intersection was like back then. I lived through the whole reconstruction, reconfiguring of that intersection, seeing the picture of Buddies. I miss Buddies. I mean, Midnight's was the only place, that was the only place on Midnight's to go to get a cup of coffee was Buddies. And now I went from going to Buddies to getting a tropical smoothie on day shift at that intersection. So times have changed. But I like the fact that the roads are widened. I like the fact that we have sidewalks. I truly wish there's some way we could connect more township sidewalks to those sidewalks, because I live probably a half mile outside of the DDA, and my kids ask all the time, hey, can we ride our bikes down to McDonald's? I'm like, no, you are not riding your bikes down Secor Road or up Secor Road to McDonald's. I mean, that would be nice, and I know that'd be a monumental task and expense. As far as the traffic lights, absolutely. You know, we enjoy going, my wife and I enjoy American Table, and I have to turn left south to get back to my house, and depending on what time you want to turn left out of there, it could be quite challenging, and so on and so forth. So I like what's coming. I like the flock cameras. I like the speed signs. I like the traffic lights that are coming. So I just want to give them kudos for getting all that in there.
Thank you. Any other? Mr. Montry?
May 14th, we are having a master plan workshop. Everyone on this board is invited and encouraged to attend that and participate in that. I don't know if Trudy will have more on that. If you talk to Jody, just that if the board being there, it's a meeting unofficially or officially, but that's Wednesday, May 14th. Big thing in going through with Lucy Fortin and going through the master plan. That should be 7 on May 14th. That's all I have.
Ms. Janusek.
To answer Ms. Keene's question, from what I understand, if funds are allocated or restricted, no, I cannot tell them that they have to give it back. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, that has to be an action taken by the DDA.
Other than that, everyone have a great evening, rest of the week. Happy Easter, Passover. Great weekend.
Ms. Hirschberger.
Yeah.
The Township Hall will be closed at noon Friday, April 18th for Good Friday. If you've heard the rumbling and the rumors of a school election on May 6th, there is, but it's not for Bedford. You have to live in the Erie Mason School District, and I think there are 30 people in Bedford that live there. So if you are not in Erie Mason School District, you do not have an election on May 6th. Car park pickleball bids are due May 2nd at 2 p.m. The bid package and the site plans are on the website. Canterbury, our engineers already saw those spots and they are working on what can be done. They are not sure. As far as the timing of the crack seal, that is completely up to the road commission and they usually don't tell us when that's going to happen. So I won't be able to give you that information, but if I get more information about the other areas, I will bring that to you. And happy Easter to everyone.
Great. I just have a couple things, and I'll talk just briefly about the DDA, because I can remember when my father-in-law, when I was working for him, came into the office along with Larry Fornwall, and the road commission said to both of them, since you guys are building houses, you need to put $10,000 into that intersection down at Stearns and Secor, and they both ponied up their own money to put in that intersection at $10,000 apiece. But you probably won't find that here in any township records, but they did pay. So when they started that, the DDA has been a good thing. Yeah, they've probably had a few ups and downs, that kind of thing. But recently, I fought to keep somebody in the county off that board who doesn't live in the DDA, okay? And I said that wasn't going to happen. So, because the county would like our money, quite frankly. They would like to see all DDAs in the county go away, because then they would get that money. So I said, no, you don't deserve any representation on a DDA board. You have no vested interest. So that didn't happen. So the DDA is doing some good things. Some of us who've lived here a long time, Trudy, you've probably lived here probably the longest, I would think. I'm a transplant back in '79. We can remember when there wasn't anything over there. Wasn't much. Except, what was it, Frosty Freeze and a couple other things. So, yeah, she did ride her bike. Yeah. She had a BMX. No. So, the DDA's been doing a good job, and I agree with you, Joe. The lights and things that are going on and so on, I think the board is really trying to do all the right things that they can over there. So I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter. Mr. Stump, you had a further comment?
For the record, one, happy Easter, forgot about that. And two, since we're talking about DDA stories, I'm of the age that when I was growing up, the farm behind Burger King, that's where they got their burgers from. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's come a long way.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we were sharing our DDA.
It was kind of bad for the cows, though.
I was convinced.
Right.
I was convinced. That's where it came from.
If anybody knew her, she was quite the interesting lady. She would not sell those cows because that was her son's hobby. And then he eventually passed away. And so, yep. Anything further? Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.